the genetics. So some of my favorite dogs in the world are like number 20 a lot of times. You know, maybe they missed a blind on it or whatever. That doesn't change the genetics. But the things that I have seen trials do is it truly shows me a relationship. When there's no reward, and I'll talk about like a reward-based system, I do believe in corrections. I do believe in that. But I always look at my dog and my children, am I being fair? That's the first thing I always ask. Am I being fair? Is this a fair thing for me to do to you right now? So obviously we always teach through motivation. I'm going to give you the steps that we do in our club. I mean, because I'm going to give you like a program that you guys can choose and pick, and if you're like, oh, I don't like that, then throw it out. That's the good thing about seminars. If something doesn't fit your personality or whatever, throw it out. If you like something, obviously keep it. So the main thing that I've seen with a lot of Rottweilers, and I'm going to make blanket statements. Does everybody have Rottweilers here? What do you have?
Shepherd.
Shepherds? Okay. The main thing that I've seen with most Rottweilers is they are food driven very well. They're good eaters. So I mean, they're good eaters. It's a blanket statement, and I know you can have some picky ones. But when I was competing with my Shepherds, I used food. And have you ever heard? Everybody know what the word drive is? In case people are brand new, it's gas. Which makes it in the gas tank. It makes it go. Whatever the drive is. I personally believe there's no such thing as food drive. I don't believe there is any such thing as food drive. You take any dog and you don't feed it for 5 days. I'm not saying do this. Food drive will develop because it's a survival mechanism. But if you don't play with a basset hound for a month, toy drive does not develop. So food is a survival mechanism. And this is going to be key when I keep coming back to this. If I'm going to correct, especially a young dog, like every time I'm playing with my dog or I'm hand feeding or whatever, I'm depositing in my checking account. Every time I correct, I withdraw. So I have to inundate the dog with a lot of motivation and saturate it. So if I'm feeding. But now I'm going to have to correct my dog for not coming, whatever. Guess what I do not use as a reward? A toy. Because toy is relationship. So if I'm going to have to get onto my dog for something and I pay him, I use food. Especially in the beginning. Later on I'll correct and use toy. Does that make sense? You guys see what I'm saying? So I want everybody to understand what I'm talking about here. There's something in animal behavior, it's called the Premack principle, and I'm going to give you some steps. Here's the very first thing that I do with dogs. I call this two-way communication. I always like, if I'm doing a seminar, I said, when people ask me, like, what's the smartest animal? I said, well, you got to describe intelligence. Tool use, maybe the chimpanzee, learning new behavior, maybe the orca or the dolphin. Language acquisition, I don't know if you've seen the language acquisition one with African gray parrots. That's incredible. That parrot Alex, have you heard of that parrot Alex? This parrot has a vocabulary that is immense. So one morning, the lady woke up, that was the trainer of Alex, and Alex was saying, long yellow, long yellow. She's like, what's Alex jabbering about? Long yellow. She couldn't figure it out, and she realized she gave Alex corn the day before but didn't put a word to it. So he's putting words together to form a thought of desire. That's pretty deep. I mean, this is getting like pretty cognitive here.
Yeah.
But only one animal recognizes human expression, and it's the dog. They've done study after study after study. You can read them. They're actually brilliant study. The dog is the one that has complete facial recognition. Chimpanzees don't have it. No other animal has it. So I want my dog to want to look at me. I don't want to go to the restaurant with my date and she's saying, hey, check that guy out. Oh, well, he's good. You're like, okay, what is this? If my dog wants to look at you, I'm like, why? Unless, I mean, if we're engaged, if my dog and I are talking together, why do you want to look away? So the very first thing I have to think is, how do I teach my dog to look at me? What motivator can I do for my dog to look at me? And I start this when they're about 8 to 10 weeks old if the food drive is developing. So you have something called offering behaviors, like a reinforcer, and I'm sure you guys all know those terms. So you don't jump inside the tank with the dolphin, obviously, and put a choke chain around their neck and make them flip. So first, classical operator, click food, click food, click food. And I'm going to make it more simplistic, but I was talking to this one dolphin trainer, and let's say they use hand signals and they want the dolphin to flip. Let's pretend. I'm making this up because I don't remember the sequence, but like this. The dolphin will go through a repertoire of behaviors. It doesn't even know what this means. It's just happy. Fish. It'll dive, it'll spin inadvertently, it flips click food. And the dolphin goes, ah, when she does this, I hear that cold click sound, I get paid. Like, have you seen dolphins do this? They didn't even know they could. There was, I think, a famous dolphin in the 1970s that offered 150 behavior for the fish, and that was one of them. They've never seen that. They didn't know they could do that. Dogs aren't going to flip and dive and spin. They're going to do what dogs do. So on step one, I sit down with the puppy, and I start this even with older dogs if it hasn't had training. I put the leash here, I have food here and here. Now I ask the dog to offer a behavior. I don't say anything. The dog starts sniffing. It starts sniffing, some lick, some lay down, some even bite your hand a little bit. And finally the dog gets frustrated, and on accident its eyes meet mine. And I pay. I click and I pay. So the Premack principle in animal behavior means I go from the less desirable to the more desirable. Everything is eye contact. You can see trainers that have done this because in the blind when the dog is barking, you can see which dogs are barking at the sleeve and which ones are right here. And they're like, that dog's not playing, which means I don't care about the sleeve. The sleeve just happens to be there. We have become so adept at our training that the sleeve becomes kind of like a big tug toy, which I start like that. You know, you've got to build prey drive because you have, right, 6 components of prey: eyeing the prey, chasing the prey, gripping, the counter, it's where the bite and the pull, getting ready for the transition, and then dismemberment and consumption. Obviously, we never get in these 2 steps. Even if I'm training a police dog, you don't start eating the guy. So you stop at the counter. Two-way communication. Make sense? You want eye contact. You want it on your heeling. You want it on your sit. You want it on your play. Focus is everything. But you have to transition. So some people do not do early protection work. I always do the early rag work. So I've seen people that don't have somebody to train their dog, and they get very intense at the dog looking at them, and they come on the field and the helper's attracting, the dog just says, I want to be with you. So it has to be able actually to go up. When you're doing these steps, I would also do like flirt pull if it's a very young dog, rag work or something, so the dog says, ah, today we do this. And I'll explain in a second how that works. Step 2 is one-way communication. This means I have food here and here, and this takes about 4 days to get. I have food here and here, and now I look wherever I want. I use sunglasses. Some people use a mirror, sliding glass door. So no matter where I'm looking, I want you to look at me. Make sense? Step 3, some of you guys have heard this last year. Two-way communication with hand movement. This is all dealing with engagement, and I do this with puppies, young puppies. So now I'm sitting here, I sit down so I'm equal with the young dog, and now my hands start moving. I'm getting the dog used to what? Force, with the hand moving. My feet aren't moving, I'm just working on one thing. My hands are moving and the dog is focused. At first they're like this, watching the hands. And I wait, I don't say anything on steps 1 through 4, it's quiet. And of course step 4 is going to be one-way communication, hand movement. And each one of these steps takes about 4 or 5 days. Make sense? Am I losing you guys bored? Okay. Everybody got that? So this is one way. Now,
what are you paying for when you're doing the hand movement? Are you?
I have food here and here.
So when you're doing this and they look at you, you pay.
Yep, I click. Okay. Marking a behavior, I can be very precise. So if I don't want my dog touching the 1 meter jump, there's something called a no reward marker. There's something called a bridge. There's the click, which means you've done your job. Here's your payment. It'd be like this. If I said, here's $1 million to do a behavior, and there was a briefcase, and you do it under 20 commands. Now I have drive in the human, and let's say it was to pick up Rich's cleats and throw them over the fence. I get you to do it, no problem. Based upon a bridge. That's like the game we played at hot and cold. Like if you stood up and I went, good. Nope. Good. Nope. I get it right there, no problem. Because I'm communicating, but they have to learn what a bridge is. So my steps 5 through 8 are the exact same as 1 through 4. They're the exact same. But now I put in the first time they've heard the word look. So step 5 is the same as 1. Why did I make these 4 silent for our club? Too many people are like, look, puppy, look. I want them to offer the behavior. I didn't want the club to become what I call threatening repeating parents. At the store, put the candy bar down. 1, 2, Billy, put the 2.5. Did you hear? So they're constantly repeating the word look, and the dog chooses finally to look after the 8th time. Now you've taught disobedience. So the key to me is delayed obedience is disobedience. if they understand a command, or don't give the command. It's better not to give the command. I have no problem giving a command after the thought, after the bridge. So let me explain what I mean. So here's the very first thing is now, step 5, I'm stepping on the leash. My dog knows this now, and now for the first time, I say the word look. When they look, there's a bridge word that we use. It's good. So when they look, now I can get duration, and I say, look, good. So here's my puppy. Look, good. It looks at the food, nope, good. I'm starting to teach what nope and good means. Good means keep doing what you're doing. How about this? Charlie brought me to do a seminar in Vegas, and after the seminar, he took me to the one with the Eiffel Tower. I'm not a gambling guy. The Paris, or whatever that one's called. And we're sitting there waiting for a table upstairs. There's a restaurant, Gordon Ramsay's, I think it's called, upstairs. We're waiting for a table, and I don't gamble, but I'm watching this lady play in the slot machines. So I'm, hey, let me study human behavior for a while. She put $5 in the slot machine, pushed a button, nothing came out, she didn't get mad. She put $5 more in, pushed a button, nothing came out, she didn't get mad. So I'm like, let me watch her a while. I was probably the creepy guy in the corner staring at her. And after she put about $100 in, these bells and whistles went off, and they kicked her back $60. And you know what she did? Yes. I'm like, you just lost $40 and you cheered. I'm like, Vegas has got a gig going here. She's happy.
All right.
Now I picture that same lady the next day, and I got this one from Horse Kanaki, this part. That lady the next day, and she's at the vending machine at the office, and there's a Pepsi machine. She puts $1 in the Pepsi machine and presses the button, and Pepsi doesn't come out. She's now mad at the machine. Like, pay me. So step 1 through 4, think of yourself as a vending machine. Step 5 through 8, you're a slot machine. Your slot machine is good. Hey, it might happen. It might happen. Obviously, you can't like, all right, we're just learning what a bridge is. Good, 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 good. The puppy will get bored. So at first, my bridge is very close to my marker, right? So I'm stepping on a leash. Look, good. So that's the very first thing that I do is teach them what good is. My no reward marker does not mean you get a correction. It means I'm withholding a reward. I'm withholding something from you. So my word is nope. N-O-P-E, that's my no reward marker. So I look at it like this. You're teaching a child. Johnny, what's 3 times 3? I know teacher 6. You don't lambast poor Johnny. No, stupid. Well, hopefully you don't. You say, so Johnny, what's 3 times 3? I know teacher 6. Nope, 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 nope. Count the rows. 3 rows of 3. 9. Yay, cupcake. Everybody's happy, Johnny. Johnny, what's 3 times 3? And Johnny flips me off. That's a whole different beast than 6. Does that make sense? So if my dog is trying, why would I ever correct you? You have to try. And then I work with you, but you have to know what a no reward marker is. Now, a no reward marker will become a negative when a dog becomes adept at a behavior. So my negative command is a hard no or phooey. Hard no. So I give a hard one. That's my negative command, which means I'm going to correct. Now, how hard do I correct? Put your dog on the spectrum. Hard dog, soft dog. And there's this theory going around, there's no such thing as hard dogs and soft dogs. I'm like, you're dead wrong. There are dogs that are hard, and there are dogs that are soft. When I had a female Malinois, her correction was like, no. And I just pointed at her and she, I'm sorry, I'll be good. That's all she, that was her correction. Why would I get a prong and make her pay? She didn't need it. But if I do that to Slayer or Nero, no, he'll look at me like, that's it? That's worth it. So I have to get on to him a little bit more stringently. So picture your dog on this spectrum. Now picture yourself on this spectrum. You as the handler. Are you a soft